Hi, I'm Daniel Johns, but you can call me Dan, and I'm about to do something I've never done before. Today, I'm going to be bending some metal. I've got a utility vehicle and a tractor, and I want to bring both of those into the shed over this threshold, and I want to protect that. I'm going to use 16th inch diamond plate aluminum, and I'm going to bend that over the edge. I have never bent metal like this. A lot of people know how, and so I did some searching and Googling. My plan is to first score a line across the bottom of the aluminum and then just hammer it in place. Each piece of aluminum is 7 feet long. I want to bend it along the length, and I don't have a metal brake that big because I don't have a metal brake at all. I'm trying to think what the problems might be. I think I just need to get into it. I ordered this metal cut to size, so I needed it exactly 7 feet. It was shipped to me with some wood, and that keeps it from bending in transit. It might look like I just ordered a 1x4, but I actually ordered metal and they just gave me a 1x4 for free. Every 16 inches, I'm making a little mark where I want to put a screw, but I'm actually also using the screw going in the middle of the pattern of diamonds. Will just look better. And so it doesn't have to be exactly on 16 inches. I'm kind of like using every 16 inches as a guide, and then whatever the closest 4 diamond pattern I can find to that 16 inches. And then on the ends, I'm making sure that there's at least one screw pretty close to each end. So a lot of it is just eyeballing it. Now that I know where I'm going to put the screws, I'm going to mark a line and score an area on the underside of each of the plates. To score this, I think I need to put it on my workbench, but my workbench is a mess. Fortunately, it's easy to fix through the magic of editing. I've put marks on the metal, and now I want to score it from one end to the other, and I don't have a straight edge long enough, except maybe I do. Since I have 2 pieces of this aluminum, I can just use one as a straight edge and a guide to run something along the other to score it. And the idea of scoring it is to give this metal a place where it would prefer to bend. Bending a 16th inch aluminum isn't very difficult. Bending it where you want it to bend, I imagine that can be tricky, especially if you don't have the right tools. And since I do this rarely, I mean, it's the first time, and I'm old. To all of you out there who are older than me, I know, I'm actually not that old. To all of you who are like 20, I'm ancient. It's probably not worth it to go buy a super expensive metal brake that then I would have to store if I only use it once every 40 years. Although, if I had it, I just found a little butterfly that has completed its life cycle. Thank you for your contribution to the universe, butterfly. At this point, the scoring is really like a deep scratch. I mean, I know that's what scoring is, but I'm not sure that this scratch is deep enough. I'm curious to find out if it is. I may make it just a little bit deeper to be sure because I don't want to mess it up. I'm planning to add what is the equivalent of a 2x4 width to each door jamb. This aluminum actually isn't the full width of the threshold, so what I need is a couple of 2x4s to make sure that I line up the aluminum in the middle. So I need to get a couple of 2x4s, and those are in a different location. So you may notice that it is now raining because this is a different day than when I started. Something that I feel frustrated about often is dependencies. Like, in order for me to get the 2x4s, I need to go to a different shed, and then I realize there's a carpet in the middle of that shed that I need to walk over, but my shoes are muddy, so maybe I should just take my shoes off in order to get across the carpet to get the 2x4s. I also need some screws, and I need to get my screwdriver or my drill. All right, once I have that, I think I'm good to go, as long as I also have a hammer. And by hammer, I mean rubber mallet. Still not sure if the bend in the middle is gonna work correctly, but we're about to find out. I'm marking where the score is, so I'm bringing that mark around to the top, just so I can line it up over the corner of the threshold. It's looking hopeful, but I want to put in a few more screws right along the back edge. It feels like it's bouncing a little too much. And I think if I secure that more, I can slowly work all the way down the edge as close to the score as possible. And that first pass where it just starts to bend down along the line, along the score, it feels like that's really important. The places where the corner is really well defined, this threshold guard seems to be bending over well. I'm glad I have a score in it. That definitely seems to help. If you need a really precise, like clean line, then I think you would do well to bend this over like a piece of metal that's got a really well-defined edge, because this wood, as you saw, was already kind of chipped up and there's a few spots that were low. For my purposes, having it rounded a little bit isn't a big deal. So if what you need is just a guard and it doesn't have to be perfect, look at my results and you can decide for yourself if it's worth it to put in the extra effort to get a really clean line or not. For me, I want to get this done and it's good enough for my use. Instead of a rubber mallet, I'm also going to try this 3-pound mallet, metal mallet. With a board, I'm going to try some different techniques and see what works. The mud around here is aggressive. The best technique I found to sharpen up the corner is to tap it across the top, hold that down with a 2x4, and then tap the front. And I'm using a metal mallet directly on the aluminum because for my case, it's okay if the aluminum's a little bit scratched or dirty, because I'm just going to be running over it with my vehicles anyway. So if this works for your case and is helpful, awesome. And if it's like, oh, no way, I don't want mine to look like that, and maybe find a local metal shop or something like that that has a big enough metal brake to put the bend in for you. I hope this has been helpful and useful, and if so, hit the like button and subscribe and all that other stuff. Thanks for watching.